Missouri River. As an old man, he moved his whole family in his 80s out to the Missouri River because that was new land. And when the Lewis and Clark, you've heard of that expedition, came up the Missouri to open up the rest of the West, one of the first person they stopped to see was Daniel Boone on the Missouri River, where he had a little homestead that he was still farming in the early 1800s. So that's an epic story, don't you think? That really is an epic, but there's no real hostility and intent to destroy anyone there. It's just a clash of cultures. The people that he's encountering in the Kentucky wilderness want to kill him. Those tribes are warring with each other too. It's just that was their lifestyle. So when people try to kill you, and I'm not saying you're justified, these kind of people like Daniel Boone responded by, he wasn't a murderous person. I don't think he ever, went crazy even when his daughter was kidnapped and so on and so forth. They had to go and rescue her, etc. Worse people than Daniel Boone respond in a murderous manner too. And I think that, to my mind, is what happened in a large swath of the movement west of this country. Two cultures that were totally at odds with each other from different stages of technological development. I know this is a dumb way to put it, but this is my way of looking at it. Encountered each other. And murderousness on both sides begot even more murderousness. You say, well, no one stopped it all. No, I don't think anyone was strong enough to stop any of it. People like Abraham Lincoln, whom I do believe was a righteous man, would have tried to stop these things were they able, but they were killed by other people. So you were having social unrest within the dominant, if you want to call it, Anglo environment too, where people were who tried to stand against certain things would be blown away too. So it was this inevitable sort of catastrophe that then we get people like Black Elk are the individual people within the catastrophe that are the victims of it all. But I'm sure the people like Black Elk were trying to stop the young braves from being over-aggressive. I'm sure the people in Fallujah, if they have any sense at all in their brain, whether we belong there or not, I'm not trying to get into that issue, would like to stop the hotheads from going out and hanging Americans up on the bridge there. You follow what I'm trying to say? The shopkeepers, the middle class people, the homeowners, the people who have a stake in the society, they think that they would like to, let's get a different way of going about this. Let's do this, more gradually. Let's try to get these problems worked out over the conference table and so on. Even if we don't like the Americans, Uncle Sam here, let's try to work this out some intelligent way. Let's not hang them up and provoke them. Well, okay, so that's what happens, and look what happened in Fallujah in the last two weeks. I don't think there's a building standing in that place, just about. That's what happens. So it isn't good, it isn't bad, but one thing, inevitably provokes another thing. And it seems to me that it's usually the clash of cultures where young people are actually, maybe the testosterone makes them more aggressive than the other side is willing to bear, and then a response comes that's even worse than what the original people did. Anyway, that's one analysis of it. People like Black Elk, in any case, I think we're trying to put a lid on things, trying to get along, and every time Chief Joseph is a wonderful example. How many know the story of Chief Joseph? He is a tremendously civilized Native American chief from up in the Oregon area. I forget the name of it. I don't know if it's the Shoshones or another related tribe. They were actually the tribe that helped Lewis and Clark when they were at their last gasp get over the mountains and gave them horses. So they were always a tribe that had welcomed people. But there were younger people in the tribal group who objected to the settlers in Oregon and started being a little aggressive towards some of the settled areas and maybe taking horses, or occasionally kidnapping someone, or maybe getting into a fight with and killing somebody or whatever, and then the